What is up, all of my horror fanatics out there? Welcome back to Late Night Frights. I'm the Late Night Frights horror leader, the J. Sloan or Jordan, back here to do another video for you. And as you guys know, last month was our first month back here on Late Night Frights in quite some time. So last month we did a reviewer's choice where any of us could review whatever film we wanted to, starting the new year off right, since we are back. Now, this month, weekly, we're going to be doing a segment that everyone loved back in the day when we were producing videos regularly. It's something that everyone seemed to enjoy. Very popular segment, and it was our horror battles. So we're going to be doing those again. And I must admit, the horror battles kind of snuck up on me. I really wasn't sure what to battle, so I figured I would battle the two films that I have seen most recently, horror-wise, thriller-wise, whatever you want to call it. Now, these films are similar in ways, but very, very different in other ways. One's a slasher, one's more of a thriller, one's an older film, one's a newer film. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what films they are, and you guys know the steps, how we usually do with horror battles. If not, go back and check out some of the older videos. You'll see how we do things. We do a quick review on both films, then we battle the two films to the death. So here's what I'm going to be battling. First one is a 1980 classic. This is one of my favorite slashers of all time, and it is William Lustig's Maniac, versus a 2016 or 2017, one of the two, kind of a thriller film by M. Night Shyamalan, and that is Split. Okay, so starting off, we're going to review Maniac, which, like I said, was made in 1980, directed by William Lustig, who has done a lot of great horror films, such as Maniac Cop, he's done Vigilante, and many, many more, also starring Joe Spinell as the lead as Frank Zito, starring Caroline Munro. Now, the film is basically a slasher at its best, one of my favorite slashers of all time. Frank Zito is a man who has suffered very, very bad childhood traumatic abuse, and it kind of takes its toll on him as the years progress. And we get to see the true side of Frank while also seeing kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of Frank, from the good to the bad. He goes out on nights to prowl and stalk women as victims because he pretty much sees them as whores and abusers, much like his mother was, much like his childhood was. He's very deranged, very, very psychotic, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to talk about the kills too much. I'm going to save that for the horror battle itself. Very great slasher, very great acting by Joe Spinell. The way that he puts on the screen how he feels and how this Frank Zito character, what he's been through, is really, really impressive as an actor. And I've acted in shorts, and we do the Walking Dead fan series. I know it's hard to really get to that level of from being normal to being psychotic, and he does it like that. So Maniac, classic film, great director, great acting. I'm going to talk about Tom Savini in a little bit, being the special effects artist in here. And yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but Maniac, if you haven't seen it, it is an absolute classic slasher. You must watch it if you're a horror fan. Maniac. Okay, so now we're going to be reviewing Split, which was directed by M. Night Shyamalan, starring James McAvoy, Anna Taylor-Joy, Betty Buckley, Jessica Saloux, Haley Lou Richardson. And it's about a man named Kevin, played by James McAvoy, who has 23 different personalities. His psychiatrist has seemed to keep these personalities under control. He's getting better. He's taking medication. He has a lot of different things that is seeming to come around in a circle to be okay for this man who literally is traumatized by so many multiple personalities. They seem to all be under control, but something happens with one or two of them where they decide to kidnap 3 different girls. I'm not going to say why, but there is a personality that is the 24th personality Kevin has never been able to release to the psychiatrist, and it is called, I believe, the Beast. So it's very crazy, very, very entertaining, and just chilling at best. James McAvoy's performance is amazing. It says on the back here, the role of James McAvoy's career. I would have to agree. The way he switches personas, even right down to the mannerisms between each personality, and the film just kind of keeps progressing on and on as it goes. It's a slow burn at first, but it does have some entertainment, enjoyment. I mean, you'll literally find yourself picking which personality you like best, and there are so many to choose from, and it's like watching different people on the screen as soon as he can snap into it like that. Very good film, very good effects, and we'll talk about that in a little bit during the horror battle, but the acting by Anna Taylor-Joy's character was really, really good. You felt her like she was traumatized from past events, and that's what I liked. And that's kind of why I chose this to battle Maniac. He suffered some childhood abuse, and he has all these multiple personalities, and he does very, very bad things for really no apparent reason other than what he's suffered through the past. Very good film, very good thriller, especially to be, 2016, 2017. Not a lot of good films are released nowadays, especially in this genre, but this one was a great film out of the, picking it out of the litter here, really, really good, so that is Split. So now, I've reviewed both films kind of briefly. I didn't want to spoil too much or go in too much detail on both. So now we are going to battle them to the death, starting with round 1, which will be coming up here in just a second. Okay, so round 1, acting and directing. Now, if you have been a fan of Late Night Frights, you probably are familiar with the rounds. I actually forgot some of them. I had to relook and kind of gather them up. So round 1, acting and directing. So we've got 2 films, very good actors, and a very good direction in both. Now we've got William Lustig's directing in Maniac, M. Night Shyamalan's directing in Split, and for the slasher aspect, this worked perfectly. For the thriller aspect, this worked perfectly. That's why it makes this round so difficult. I'm going to look at some of their track records. William Lustig making amazing films. M. Night Shyamalan has had a hit and miss for years now. I know he's been kind of made fun of for certain films. This is technically a sequel. I'm not going to say what it's a sequel to, but it's a sequel to one of his better films, I would say. And the acting, Joe Spinell, great in Maniac. James McAvoy, great in Split. I'm going to have to say personal preference between the two. I don't know, for acting, I would say Split. For directing, I would say Maniac. Let's see here. I'm going to go with Maniac for round 1, simply because Joe Spinell gave this vibe, this very creepy vibe of a man that you could trust, a man that you really felt like you knew. The average kind of day guy. During the day, he was very simple man, I guess you would say. And during the night, he was this psychotic killer who had no self-control. And I think that was pretty much what the film was about. And toward the end, his performance really got deeper and deeper. And the directing from William Lustig was very, very good, very perfect for its time. So I'm going to say Maniac, although, listen guys, James McAvoy in this film is excellent. The directing was good. It did have a few points that was kind of hit and miss. It was slow in some sections. It definitely had that M. Night Shyamalan kind of feel to it. And the ending, it was cool to see that it was a sequel. There's a part in the end I won't spoil. But also kind of a letdown in the same sentence, because it didn't really need to be. Although it did explain certain things in this world that were happening that kind of seemed otherworldly, and why would they happen in this film. It explained things, but at the same time, it did not need to be a sequel. It worked fine on its own. But that sets up for a third installment, and I'm not going to go into that. But I will say Maniac takes round 1 for acting and directing. Okay, round 2, blood, guts, and gore. So without a doubt, guys, I'm going to have to give this to Maniac right off the bat. The effects by Tom Savini, the shotgun scene, if you've seen this film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh my god, the effects in this, it is a gory, bloody film for the time. And you had it in 1980 when slasher films were a dime a dozen. They were starting to produce faster and faster, and the more graphic they were, the more that the audiences loved them, and it kind of made everybody desensitized to a film such as Maniac, or many, many more slashers to replicate in the future. So the blood, guts, and gore goes to Maniac. Split had a few gory moments. Toward the end, there was some cannibalism involved that was really cool. But I would have to say Maniac kind of takes the cake for round 2. So yeah, moving on to round 3. Okay, guys, round 3, chills and thrills. Which film do I think had more thrills and kind of was a more jump scare type film? And I would have to say Split takes the round. It had moments coming from the beginning of the film all the way to the end that you didn't really see. There's a specific moment toward the end I won't spoil, where it really kept me on the end of my seat. And Maniac was kind of in your face. It didn't really have that many thrills to it to kind of jump you out of your seat, or make you, jump out of your seat, is I guess what I meant to say. So Maniac didn't have too many of those. It was in your face. It was what it was. It was gory, it was graphic, and it knew what it was from the get-go. Split kind of took turns that you weren't really going to expect, I guess. And I love the jump scares in it. So Split takes round 3. Okay, so round 4, story and originality. So, which film do I think had a better story and was more original? Now, I love Maniac, guys. Very interesting story with the childhood abuse, the trauma, the prowling at night. But slashers in this period were technically, to me, a dime a dozen. You had the really good ones, such as Maniac, and you had the really, really fucking terrible ones. So Maniac was one of the better ones, but it had been seen, and it was going to be seen more and more in the future. Talking about Split, though, with the multiple personalities, the different personas, this was very original, especially to be, 2017, 2016, so it was very cool to see something like this. And originality, it was original to me because I hadn't seen something quite to the extent, especially with James McAvoy's acting. So it was very cool to see, and I would say that it has a better story than Maniac, although I do love Maniac. Split definitely has a better story, so it takes round 4. Okay, guys, we're down to the final round here, round 5, personal enjoyment and replayability. If I had the choice, which film would I pop in right now and watch? And as much as I love Split, I'm going to have to go with Maniac. Maniac is a near-perfect slasher from the 80s. If you're setting a pedestal to watch this and other ones, it's going to be one on the top of your list. Great directing by William Lustig. A really good acting job by Joe Spinell, kind of diving into the mind of Frank Zito. I've always loved this one. I've loved the special effects. I own the, there it is, the Maniac 10. Love the film. Have multiple editions. So it does take the cake over Split, although Split is a great film as well. I would highly recommend watching both of these for different reasons. They are different films, but they are kind of similar in some ways. That's why I picked both of them. So yeah, guys, Maniac won this battle. It took the cake. It is superior to over Split in my mind. And that is Split versus Maniac, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been my horror battle for this month. Stay tuned, guys. Chris Brock will be up next, and then every other member after that. So we hope you guys are really enjoying our comeback to Late Night Frights. And we do it for the fans. We're having a lot of fun producing videos for you guys. There are going to be some horror battles. Well, not some horror battles, I'm sorry. Horror chats here soon. I know everyone used to love those. So, yeah. Horror chats, new themes, continuing the horror battles as we always have, and just stay tuned, guys. We have a lot planned for the year of 2018. I'm the J. Sloan Jordan, and thank you guys so much for watching my battle over Maniac and Split. So Maniac has won. So thank you guys. Peace. Keep it horror.